Hey everybody, it's Ed from the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, and we're here with another whiskey short for you. I'm here with Scott.
Hey everybody.
Following up on what we did recently, which was a short on water and ice in your whiskey, we thought we'd extend that by taking a look at what you're drinking your whiskey out of, particularly what glasses are out there for you to choose, and we're going to put a couple to the test to see, does it really matter? And if so, how much?
Whiskey short.
Scott, what are we going to be drinking out of today?
Oh, well, Ed, we have 4 different types of whiskey glasses. The first one is the traditional tumbler or rocks glass. I don't know. How tall is that? About 4 inches? Tall? I had a ruler. Where'd it go? Fuck it.
Let me measure it my own way. Yep. Just about 4 inches.
It's a hand.
Got 3 inches to spare.
Jesus. We haven't even had
not a drop
yet.
Dead sober. I can't wait to start. Cannot wait to start. I've been waiting for 15 minutes looking at whiskey.
Okay, so that's glass number 1. Glass number 2 is the Glencairn, which is a sort of a tulip-shaped glass that a lot of people originally started drinking scotch out of. It was developed by the Glencairn Crystal Limited in Scotland in 2001, and it's about 4.5 inches tall. It's only 2.5 inches wide at its widest point, which is sort of 3/4 to the bottom. And the opening at the top is only 1 3/4 inches. So the rocks glass is probably about 3.5 inches wide.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's usually made of lead crystal. It's endorsed by the Scotch Whisky Association, and it's used by every major whiskey company in Scotland and Ireland. You'll also find them in tasting rooms all over Kentucky and even at Target, which I think is where I got mine.
I'm a little hurt.
What?
I ordered those Glencairns for you.
Oh, shit.
On Amazon.
You're right.
I took the trouble to have them shipped to you.
I had the other glasses. You're right. You're absolutely right, Ed. I apologize.
I bought the Glencairn.
Ed bought the Glencairn glasses off of Amazon, right?
That's right.
Okay.
You can find them there like everything else.
Right. That's true. All right. The glass is made for nosing. So when aromatic molecules are coming off the liquid, they're funneled into the tighter bouquet at the top, allowing the sipper to maximize the nose and further enhance the experience. Now, I was reading a funny article about this guy who has had them and has used them, but he's done with them and he will never use it again.
Really?
He had 3 objections. 1, they're too small. 2, they're too dainty.
Yeah.
And 3, enjoying whiskey at home is not the same as assessing in a tasting context. Which is right. You're not enjoying it from a Glencairn. You enjoy it out of a rocks glass. If you're tasting it at a competition or something, maybe that's when you're using it.
Well, locally, as far as at the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, Scott drinks this stuff neat more than I do, but then he often likes to put a cube in it at some point, which this does not really lend itself to being cubed.
No, the opening's too small, number 1. So if you're going to put
a small cube, and and like the guy said, it's a very delicate crystal glass.
Yeah,
ice can break it. It's meant for only straight spirits.
Right. So we're going to taste all of these neat. The third glass is the Norlin whiskey glass.
Named after New Orleans?
No.
New Orleans?
No, Norlan. I think that's the name of the company.
It is. I was just kidding.
Oh, the Norlin whiskey glass. It's transparent. It's double-walled, formed with a glass blowing technique into 2 separate molds, and one for the inner wall, one for the outer wall. And then the rims are reheated, and the inner glass is inserted, at which time the rims are sealed.
It's almost like they took a reformed Glencairn glass and then put it in the middle of this other glass. Though the opening's much wider at the top. Much wider.
Exactly.
Once again, I wouldn't put a cube in here because it's even more delicate than the Glencairn.
Yeah, so it has a hollow feel to it. It's very light. It's only
very
like
light.
4 ounces.
Is it? I can't even believe it's 4 ounces.
It says it's 4 ounces. The top,
wow.
The top is actually heavier than the bottom.
Yeah, it's really top heavy.
It's kind of cool looking glass though. It's faceted on the bottom.
Yes.
I think it's made out of a particular glass that doesn't leave fingerprints. It's very interesting.
You're right. I can't put fingerprints.
And Ed, you were right about the width of the opening, which is 3.22 inches wide.
You also know what whiskey glass to bring with you if you're going to commit a crime, because
leaves no fingerprints.
So you could rob a bank with the right hand while you sip on a nice 10-year in the left hand.
For the discerning thief. So the idea behind this glass is that it's a perfect synthesis between the tumbler and the Glencairn. It's like sort of a mixture of the two.
And also, I would imagine the body heat of your hand wouldn't transfer into the whiskey.
That could be.
I don't know if that's an issue, but I know that that's one thing that you gain from having the double hole.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why you would have a double wall if that wasn't the point. So it says it aerates better than any other glass, reducing the ethanol intensity and requiring less water dilution for richer aromas.
Okay.
And then it says it focuses and diffuses the aromatics to the nose and mouth, revealing hidden flavors.
Okay.
All right, so that's...
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the glass number 4, the final glass we have, is called the Neat glass. And the NEAT, all in caps, and it stands for Naturally Engineered Aroma Technology. This is the one in episode 8 that we did with our friend Jeff. This was the glass that he was drinking out of, and it's shaped sort of like a spittoon.
Yes, very much so.
It's 2.5 inches tall, so it's the smallest glass that we have.
It is by far.
It's 3 inches wide, both at the opening and at its widest part below that. But
On
the
the base,
neck
yep.
is 2 inches wide.
Right, funnels like the Glencairn, and
then it flares out dramatically.
So that you can get in there and get a good aromatic experience.
Right, so the theory behind this glass is that it reduces the amount of alcohol reaching your nose, just like the other ones, but to a greater degree, allowing you to smell the other properties of the drink better. Now, there were some instructions that came with the glass that I also got off Amazon. And there's a picture of the people. Guy in the middle actually looks like a young Albert Einstein. Let's see if they're a genius. Get it?
Yeah, well, I just hope E equals me drink whiskey. So, as we tend to do here at the Whiskey Tangent, we're going to be using Bullet Rye as our control spirit.
We know it really well, and we're curious to see if drinking out of these other glasses is going to impart some mysterious, heretofore unknown flavor.
Yes. So, we're going to start with the tumbler, the rocks glass. So, let's take our first sip.
Glass 1.
It's vanilla.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite whiskeys.
And caramel and delicious. And
once again, I'm surprised at the sweetness of it because there's no corn in it whatsoever. It's 95% rye and the other 5% is malted barley, which is really just there for the fermentation.
It has to be the barreling process and the way that they age it. But okay, so now we're going to move on to the Glencairn.
Glass 2.
This is where it's going to change, I guess.
Look how it sticks to the glass. It's got great viscosity.
Yes.
I'm smelling a lot of alcohol with the Glencairn. It's like forcing all the alcohol into my nose.
Yeah, the exact thing it was saying it wasn't going to do is what it's doing to me. I'm smelling a lot of pure alcohol with a little bit of peppery ryeness.
You can definitely
Very
smell
peppery.
the pepperiness of the rye in the Glencairn better, but you're getting a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's actually burning my nose, but I'm definitely smelling pepper more than I ever have in the rocks glass.
We didn't detect that at all in the rocks glass.
On the previous
Interesting
smell and sip.
Maybe it's my imagination, but I'm actually tasting the pepper more now.
I really think the taste is different in this glass. It's funny how that is, but maybe because of how important your sense of smell is to your sense of taste.
Yeah, they say that aroma is about like 90% of your taste.
Wow. It's finishing with a lot more pepper than the tumbler.
Yeah, it's less sweet than it is in the rocks glass.
Very much less sweet. Oh, that's such a great point.
Yeah. Glass 3.
Right.
Wow, the whiskey looks amazing in this Norland glass.
Yeah, the Norland's glass, it looks darker and richer and happier.
Yeah, it's like glowing. The entire glass is almost like it's in the sunshine. That's an amazing view.
It's a great looking glass.
Yeah. All right, so I don't get as much alcohol.
The bigger opening is letting a lot more go by me.
Yeah, this is more like the smell that I got out of the rocks glass, but it is a little bit more concentrated, like the sweeter vanilla honey aromas that you get. Okay, so I'm going to taste it. The sweetness is back.
Yep.
Not as sweet, though, as in the rocks glass, and I do taste the pepperiness.
I don't taste the peppery rye as much. More than the rocks.
Definitely. Less than the Glencairn.
The lip is nice. It's a fun lip to have in your mouth, and the whiskey pours in your mouth really happily.
Yeah, it's a thick lip. Now, what's interesting is it did say that this was a hybrid between the tumbler and the Glencairn, and that's kind of what we're experiencing here. Glass 4.
We're now going to focus on the Neat glass, NEAT, for, what does it stand for again? Quiz, Scott.
Oh, God. Natural
No.
Ergonomic
No.
Aroma Technology.
No.
Let me get my papers. Where is it? Oh, naturally engineered aroma technology. Damn it, I was close. All right. I almost smell no alcohol now.
Yeah, it's almost just like black pepper on my nose.
I definitely get the pepper, not as much of the sweet aromas, and no alcohol smell. It smells good.
Yeah.
Oh, that tastes great.
It tastes delicious. It's
wow.
really, really sweet with a burning peppery finish is what I got.
Yeah.
On my lips, like cinnamon red hot.
That's fantastic. I think it tastes better in this neat glass than it did in any of the other ones.
If I was going to drink this spirit neat, I would choose the last glass.
Yeah.
I think I would. And that's the one that Jeff was raving about during the
yeah, it's the one that we all had to smell his glass because he said he was tasting butterscotch in the Jefferson Reserve, which we were drinking out of rocks glasses and did not taste. And then when we smelled his glass, it did smell like butterscotch.
Okay, so we have rocks glass, the Glencairn, the Norland, and then we finished with the NEAT all capital neat glass, which looks like a spittoon, and I think
that's the winner.
Spectacular.
Yeah, it was so good.
So these are easy to find, like I said, at Amazon, or really a lot of liquor stores have them. Sometimes they come in gift boxes. You can get them around the holidays for the same price as a regular bottle.
Right.
And they stick them in the box.
Yeah, like Glencairn, how much you pay for it on Amazon?
Maybe $18.50
for
both. Yeah, like I have some really, sick Waterford crystal tumblers, $40 a pop, $60 a pop. I have a couple of them.
Yeah, regular tumbler glass, you could get cheap ones at Target, probably $15 for a set of two. The neat glass was about, I think, $26 for the pair. Mm-hmm. But the Norland glasses are like $48 a pair. And
they look like they were the most to make, too. I mean, they look like a lot went into making them.
A lot of technology went into this.
And I'm actually glad we have all of them.
Yeah.
They all have their merits. You decide what you wanted to use. At the end of the day, I use rocks glass probably 90% of the time.
But if you do want to taste something different in a whiskey that you really like, I would say get the neat glass. Take a chance on it.
Yeah. It looks like you know what you're doing. Works for us.
Yeah. Makes a good gift.